spoken before, but I think her message tonight is really different because she's going to be sharing her story. And that's always a little scary to share in a room with strangers. So I thank you for your willingness to share your gifts by coaching PLInc ladies, coaching me, share your gifts by speaking to us tonight. I value you in Purposeful Living Inc. and in my life more than you know. So if you could help me bring up Miss Jennifer Powell.
Hi ladies, you look all amazing. It's great to be here with you, and thank you Nadine for that. And it truly is an honor for me to share my story. And yes, I have spoken before, and so this is one of the first times I really get to share my story growing up, and so it's going to be a little raw and unfiltered, if you're okay with that. I started, well, when I grew up, I was the oldest of 4 girls, and my dad was a pastor, and my mother was a borderline personality, which is a severe mental illness. And if you've never had any interaction with that in mental illness, as I tried to think about how to describe it, it's basically you're living on eggshells with another person. You just think of a person that really puts you on edge, or that you're really uneasy about, and their fuse is about this big, and it can go from 0 to 60 very fast. And emotionally, you just don't know what's coming. So you have an idea of what I'm talking about. So I really thought that as I look back, the best way to describe it to you ladies is I felt like I had to put on my emotional combat helmet every single day. And as the oldest of 4 girls, protect them, watch out for them. We would kind of hunker in the corner, and really, truly, we would wait for the next emotional explosion to occur. And it could just, without a flip of a switch, it could occur. And it was the inevitable shrapnel after the explosion that really, it was targeted right at my sisters and I in the form of anger and rage. And so you felt like you were constantly in a fight, flight, or freeze mode. And it really left you as a child very confused, very frustrated, sometimes lonely and angry, just you couldn't figure it all out. So as I look back, I think I adopted several things that I have had to work through in my own journey. And first is, they go hand in hand. First is a victim mindset and learned helplessness, because there was nothing I could do or say to quell the anger or to diminish it in any way. And it was all happening to me. It was all happening to my sisters and I. And we didn't know, we didn't know the trigger or the switch. So that was one. The second is really, I felt like love was very conditional. And I couldn't figure out the conditions because of the emotional crazy that happened in our house. But I just thought, and this is the third thing, if I just did enough, then I would be good enough and worthy enough. And then somehow, somewhere along the line, there'd be this one bright, shining moment like the movies. Like it was all going to come together and everyone was going to be fine, and we would all say, I'm sorry, and we would live like Leave It to Beaver. But it just didn't happen that way for me. So as I walked through this time, at about mid-20s, I did start struggling with depression because all of my internal world, I could not figure it out. So as life continued, I eventually really truly came to believe that my needs didn't matter and that I was unlovable at the core of myself. So continue on, I had 2 babies. After both of them, I had postpartum depression, probably, but I was too stubborn, too prideful, and my ego was too big to go get any sort of help. And so really the people that had the most impact on was my family, my 2 kiddos and my husband. So the closest people in my 4 walls were receiving the impact of my internal world. But, you know, you're good at putting on the mask. You put on the mask and, oh, how you doing, Jen? Great, text, life is wonderful. But really, on the inside, and we all do it, right? We all do it. But on the inside, I was hurting so badly, but just, I felt powerless. You're the victim. I felt powerless and helpless to change my internal world. And so there was, as time progressed, children bring out the best of you. Those of you that have kids in here, children bring out the best. All of a sudden, I started seeing patterns of behavior that I knew I did not want to repeat. I'm thinking, what am I doing? And so in this, you know, defining moments sometimes happen on just mundane, ordinary days. And so in a very big defining moment, I was a teacher, so I just taught a full day, and I picked up the kids, and the kids are playing in the family room, and it's interesting that the mind remembers this. I'm standing at the stove stirring baked beans, and I am sobbing, like just sobbing, because all those emotions that you push down and push down and push down, and you're like, I'm gonna deal with it, I'm okay, I'm fine, I don't need any help. Well, it's almost like the floodgates opened, and I felt trapped, lonely, confused, angry, resentful. All these emotions that I'd never addressed came to the forefront. And I said, okay, this is my defining moment. I need to go get help. I'm seeing patterns of behavior that I do not want to repeat. So I thought that my answer was to call my doctor. So I called my doctor, and I got her on the phone, and I explained the situation. She was very empathetic, and she said, yes, I'll put you on some medication. And ladies, those 2 weeks were absolutely horrible. I had every side effect of that medication. I couldn't sleep, I was nauseous, the whole night. So I was worse off after the medication, after 2 weeks, and I said, I can't handle this. And I took myself off. Not highly recommended, but I took myself off, because you not only hit ground zero, you go far below. And so in those numbing 2 weeks, I had a very angry conversation with God. I said, you gave me that childhood, you gave me this hot mess, I don't know what to do with it, I've tried to figure it out, you take it. And so, one, I love that he hears our prayers, and even if they're very angry, because I kind of said it just like that, and he answered it so quickly, because in the next couple weeks there was just divine appointments, I would have to say, that led me to a woman that would eventually become my spiritual director, my counselor, and my friend, and truly who I knew that God placed into my life in order to help me heal. And so I am so thankful for that lady. She is my guardian angel. But I want to leave you ladies with 2 aspects. And I didn't even look at my notes once there. So anyways, good thing they're up here. But I want to say that we are relational beings. My healing journey began in a relationship. I thought I could do it all by myself, but I was really wrong. I couldn't. We were not made, as women, we were not made to hold our own pain and our struggle and our sorrow all alone. I think the biggest lie we believe is that we are all alone and that no one will understand. And so if you do get connected with another woman, maybe it's the fact that you can share your story, all right? Or maybe that sharing of your story gives hope, right? So it empowers you in your own life to share your story, because what are we waiting to hear? We think that other women might judge us, the pain might be too great, or whatever the excuse is, but really what we want to hear as women as we share our story is me too. Me too. I've been there. I know what that's like, and it's okay. You'll get through it too. So in his book, The Relational Soul, Rich Plass says, we were born with a relentless longing. I love those words, relentless longing to participate in the lives of others. And we cannot reach our full potential without healthy relationships. So are you struggling today? Are you longing to be in a relationship? If you are, I would say be encouraged and step out. Pray through it. Step out. Say, who can I connect with? Is it a spiritual director, a counselor, a coach, a friend, a mentor? Somebody that you can share your story with that can empower you, because really that is our soul's longing, is to be relationally and be in connection. So let's be intentional about being in connection with other women, because it's empowering, right? And lastly, but not least, is forgiveness. So the forgiveness, it's so much easier said than done, and sometimes it takes a while on your journey to forgive. But Brene Brown, an author, says, so forgiveness is not forgetting or walking away from accountability or condoning a hurtful act. It's the process of taking back and healing our lives so that we can truly live. So I knew that at some point along my journey, I needed to forgive my mother. But I really, can I be very raw and honest? At first, I didn't want to. I wanted her to feel as much pain as she put me through. I thought that with forgiveness, I wanted her to come say, I am so sorry for all the things that I said and did to you. But guess what? That didn't happen, right? I thought forgiveness meant I excused the behavior, or forgiveness meant I was just okay with all of it, and we were just not going to talk about it, and we're going to sweep it underneath the rug. And all of the pain that I felt was invalidated. But I came to realize that this was not the case. When I faced the pain of what happened to me, not denying it, not running away from it, but willing to work through the pain, that in my journey, forgiveness and healing was able to occur. So I realized that holding unforgiveness, holding this resentment, anger, and bitterness was like anchors around my soul. They just weighed me down, and I could not live my life fully. But in a moment, I understood that forgiveness was a gift to me. Does that make sense? Forgiveness is a gift to you. It's a gift to me. If you offer forgiveness to the other person, guess what you can do? You open your hand, you surrender, and you say, I don't want to live my life that way anymore. I don't want to live with all these negative emotions weighing me down. I want to live more fully. Now, it's a journey. It took me a while to get there. But the freedom that comes with forgiveness is truly amazing. So is there somebody that's on your heart today that you might need to forgive? All right. It's empowering as well to forgive. And remember, it doesn't mean that you condone the act or that you're okay with it, and it doesn't even mean that you have to have them come to you and say, I'm sorry. You can freely forgive those people and give that gift to you. So ladies, in closing, 2 things. Number 1, be in relationships. I love this place. I love PLInc. This is exactly the type of environment that you can plug into, and you can heal and find people to walk alongside. We are not made to walk along in life all by ourselves. So be in relationship, be intentional about connection. And number 2, eventually in your journey along the way, release the anchors and forgive those that hurt you. And in doing so, you can live a more full life. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing, being honest, and being you.